Hey, welcome to the Diabetes Remission Roadmap podcast with the two renegade pharmacists, Brian Bisher and Cory Jenks. You are listening to this because you are a person with type 2 diabetes who is committed and driven to breaking free from this diagnosis and creating a real, meaningful change in your health and life. In these episodes, we're here to help you ditch the scripts with doses of unconventional wisdom on topics such as fitness, nutrition, medication, mindset, and more. So without any further delay, let's dive right in.
Welcome back to another edition of the Diabetes Remission Roadmap podcast. Brian, it's good to see you again.
Cory, it's good to see you and your Cubs jacket. You said that thing might be older than I am. How old do you think that is?
This jacket is probably from the 80s. I'm wearing, for those of you who are not watching this podcast, who is everybody, because we don't have a visual on any of this, I am wearing a vintage bright blue vinyl Chicago Cubs jacket, the kind of which you might see them wearing in their 1984 and 1989 division-winning videos. So go back down that wormhole. But it's a cold, rainy day in Tucson, Brian, and you're in a t-shirt. So it's all good.
Yeah.
And we're a couple of weeks here into the new year. And I was inspired the other day in my own personal life, thinking of the challenges that people face when making changes to improve their blood sugar. And I was in the middle of the kitchen making dinner. I had kids that were screaming, making a mess. We have a toilet that's clogged. And I just thought of that F word. You know what I'm saying, Brian? You know the F word I'm thinking about?
I do, but I think you're thinking of a different F word, actually.
A different. Well,
Yeah,
there's a few that came to
podcast.
mind. This is a clean for now. But yeah, the F word I'm thinking of is friction, because I was trying to spin many plates at the same time. And all of you out there are trying to reverse your type 2 diabetes, but you also have lives. Your lives don't revolve around food prep and gym time. You are husbands, wives, employees, employers. And so the word I'm thinking of is friction, because with all of these things going on in our life, any friction that gets in the way of our healthy habits is going to make it harder to improve your blood sugars. That's why we say the F word is why your blood sugar is high. Because I was thinking in the middle of my kitchen with my kids screaming and the toilet gurgling up, I am afraid to know it was. If I had to get in a car and drive 30 minutes to go to the gym, I would not do that. But I have a pull-up bar right down the hall that I can go do pull-ups. I have a kettlebell right here next to my desk that I can do squats or swings with. We already have nutrient-dense, nutritious foods stocked in the kitchen with minimal things that I could possibly stress eat. Not that I would ever want to stress eat, Brian. But can you talk about what happens when we remove friction to good habits and how increasing friction to things that are detrimental to our blood sugar might help us on that path to remission?
Well, I think this is a habit this is a topic we have definitely talked about before. Definitely worth revisiting, especially as we go into the new year. Yeah, friction. It's kind of like the idea of make something that's quote unquote bad or a negative habit, aka something that's going to keep you type 2 diabetic, dependent on medications, dependent on the system. And that is going to be a negative habit because it's going to drive you further away from your goal of breaking away from that system. You want to add the friction to doing that habit, aka make it harder. This is like one of the laws of behavior change that James Clear maps out in his book, Atomic Habits. Is just any habit you want to stop doing or decrease the amount of times you do, just make it harder, make it less attractive, make it, basically those two things, like make it less attractive, make it harder. And I think of like a practical example of this is honestly just like locking cabinets. Like if you have a house full of snacks still that maybe you keep on hand for people that are not you, that don't have type 2 diabetes, then just like put a lock on the cabinet. So that way you just have an extra pause before maybe I'm speaking from experience here. But you're looking at all the other things in there and you're like, am I eating this because I really am hungry? And then again, I know that this food's actually gonna make me hungrier, or is it just out of stress, out of habit? So that's one idea of adding more friction to a bad habit. And then the idea of like reducing friction to a positive habit, aka something that's going to get you closer to that goal of reducing your dependence, reversing type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance, would be, as Cory mentioned, like having exercise equipment at your home so that you don't have to go to the gym, because it literally is I was just actually just talking about this with Rachel this morning. Like, I
Rachel
don't
is
think
your
I
wife,
would.
by the way. Everyone, Rachel
Yes,
has not been
yes,
introduced formally on the spot. Rachel is Brian's wife. Thank you. Continue.
yeah.
We're talking to Rachel, your
About
wife.
this morning. How I'm just very grateful that I've found simple ways to work out and continue to progress at home versus like having to depend on a gym. Because I mean, as much as I enjoyed the gym atmosphere sometimes, like, the different equipment, the weights, like all those different choices actually add friction to your workouts unless you go in there with a clear plan. Like you're going to go in there, and that's actually a reason people don't go to the gym is because they lack clarity around what they're going to do. So like that just it adds resistance in your mind too to like doing this whole workout.
Yeah.
So
Too many choices at the gym is friction because you're overwhelmed by what to do if you don't have experience or a solid plan. Now, if you go back to our recent episode with Dr. Ben Bakikio, our muscle masterclass, one thing that has reduced friction in my life and yours is his 15-minute twice a week strength training plan, which is what we advise all of our clients to do. It's what I've done for the last 6 years. And I just happen to have a kid that's turning 6 this year. Any coincidence? I ran out of time to go to the gym as my kid number increased. I'm up to 3 kids. And so and when we say exercise equipment at home, that sounds like a big hurdle. It sounds like it could be expensive. A $20 set of resistance bands will get you very far. If you can get a kettlebell that's 25 bucks, okay, well, that's a few lattes that you didn't buy. You keep that by your desk if you work from home, or if you don't work from home. Every time you can put it out in the open, well, not where you trip on it, but where you see it, so you'll do it. It's reducing that friction to doing exercise. So that's a way to reduce friction, and in a way that's hopefully affordable and expensive. A $20 pull-up bar you can put over your door. Well, every time you go through that door, do a pull-up. Don't try to think of doing 10, do one. And one thing that I do is I'll pre-prep my gym clothes the night before. So if I'm either going to the gym or going to work out, I have all my clothes, my shoes out because at early in the morning you don't want to be fumbling around because that's friction. I will pre-prep. I drink collagen every day and creatine. Well, I'll pre-prep that the night before because I know in the morning it's going to be crazy with kids getting ready for school. So if I literally have to take 1 minute to prep this, I don't want to do it. When it comes to food, Brian made a good point. You might not be able to literally lock your cabinets, although getting some kid locks will go a long way to hiding the snacks. But it could mean if you have a second fridge, you put it out in the other fridge. If you put it out in your car, even or someone else's car, anywhere there is distance, it'll slow you down. So that's on the flip side. If you're able to pre-prep stronger foods for yourself, whether it's cutting your vegetables up, having a bag of baby carrots, having protein bars, cheese sticks, things that are more friendly to blood sugar accessible. Well, if you feel like eating because you're hungry, or if you feel like eating your feelings like I did last night when the toilet clogged, if you want to go to the thing that's convenient, if you make the healthy choice the convenient choice, you're going to choose that more regularly. So this sounds like overly simple, but I have had a lot of success with my patients and clients in the past trying to increase the friction. Now, for me, I know like chips are a food that I will eat without reckless abandon. So the friction I keep between chips and me is a drive to the store. And I'll literally only buy one bag at a time, or two bags if I'm sharing it with my kids, if I'm feeling nice. So these are seemingly simple ideas, but in a world where we're stressed to the max with a lot of responsibilities, you got to make the best choice, the easiest choice.
yeah, and this comes down to setting your habits more, setting up your environment more to be conducive to positive habits. I think that's what we're basically just trying to hammer home here. Is that really this comes down to like if you can give me a list of your habits and we can just kind of look at those and say, hey, identify this is positive, this is neutral, this is negative in terms of my goal. Then we would say, hey, okay, let's look at how do we add some friction to this negative habit. Okay, then next, how do we decrease some friction to this positive habit? And
Mhm.
then you just do that over time, one little by little, and you will become consistent enough. I think it's a good reminder too, like our habits are a good thing. Like they decrease our energy need. Like our brain habits serve us. They serve a purpose, they solve problems. And so I know this is like not relevant to type 2 diabetes, but I always ask people like, what habit, it was mainly like around smoking because people all the time were like, oh, I smoke because I'm stressed. And like, and I'm trying to help someone break a smoking habit. Um, in that like that counseling moment, I'm like, well, what problem does this solve? So think to yourself, what problem does this habit solve? Because all habits are solving problems. You just may not realize it, and just find a different way to solve that problem in a more positive way. I think that's also a good reminder. Now, I want to ask you, Cory, because I think you're gonna have some good answers here. Maybe I'm just teeing you up for this. Maybe you're not gonna have such good insightful answers, but like, what are like the top two, maybe three, if you got them, like ways you've helped, like examples of thing you can think of, like you've helped people reduce friction or add friction to positive and negative habits.
I think I named a few of them earlier. I think getting your clothes out the night before. I can't tell you the number of times I've had a patient or a client say, "Well, I was going to go to the gym, but then I couldn't find my shoes, and I was just like, screw it." Or I was going to get on the treadmill at home. I have a treadmill at home, but I had clothes on it. Okay, take the clothes off. Like that's step one. I had one person that didn't want to go to the gym, but they watched a ton of TV. So one way that I reduced friction to exercise was you're watching TV anyway, right? Yeah. Hours a day? Yes. During commercial breaks, stand up and walk. Okay, they're already watching TV. They don't have to go anywhere. They don't even have to put shoes on necessarily. There's no equipment. And they started walking while they watched commercial breaks, and their blood sugar came down and we reduced their insulin dose. Like that's one of the most memorable ones is incorporating stuff that you're already doing. So if you are already at your kid's soccer practice, okay, walk around the field. You're already outside. You're already in fresh air. Do some body weight squats while you watch them instead of sitting in a chair because you're already there.
If you're listening to this and thinking, this is exactly what I need, but I'll deal with it at my next doctor's appointment, I want to lovingly call out something important. Waiting 6 months for someone to glance at your labs isn't a plan, it's a gamble. Your blood sugar doesn't pause until your next visit, your habits don't magically change on their own, and you don't need another rushed conversation where you walk out with more questions than answers. If you want clarity, real personal clarity on what's driving your numbers and how to turn them around, grab a blood sugar clarity call with us. It's free, it's personalized, and it gives you a plan you can act on right away, long before your next appointment rolls around. Just head to the show notes and tap the link to book your call. Don't wait for someone else to set the pace for your health. Take the next step while you've got the momentum.
And I also think this setting small expectations and goals. So if the friction is I need to exercise an hour a day. Well, if I don't get an hour, I might as well not do it. Okay, can you exercise a minute a day? Can you get a minute? Great. Start ridiculously, painfully, obnoxiously small because there's very little friction to saying, oh, can you walk for a minute? Okay, I can do that. Because what inevitably happens is you're like, okay, this isn't so bad. I can do two. It turns into five. It turns into a habit. So that's one. And then I think the other one, it goes back to what you were saying. I've had a lot of success with have your partner or spouse or roommate hide the junk food. Like short of not bringing it in the house, if they want to buy it, they can't tell you where it is. And if you can't find it, you're just kind of like, screw it, fine. I'll not eat, or I'll eat something a little bit better. So, but like, I like your topic, or not topic, your idea of list your habits that are serving you, not serving you, list them all out. Do a habit audit. What are you doing on autopilot every day? What habits do you like? What habits do you want to change? And then you can knock them out one by one, slowly switching them to things that are more conducive to your blood sugar and life and health goals.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the term you're talking about there with like walking while you're watching TV is just like habit stacking. Habit stacking is a proven way to just do something, add something on top. Like you basically, it's like your trigger. Every habit has a trigger, even if it's just an expectation or an environment or some kind of cue. Your trigger in this case is, oh, I'm watching TV. Oh, there's a commercial. There's my trigger to walk. So you need to give yourself triggers.
I mean, for one thing, in our pharmacy counseling days, for people who would use like a twice a day inhaler that required them to rinse their mouth out, we would just tell them to put that inhaler next to their toothbrush, use it right before you brush your teeth. I hope you're brushing your teeth twice a day. So you're going to be rinsing your mouth out anyway when you brush your teeth. Just pop it in right before you brush your teeth. So, Brian, I'm going to call an audible here. You've inspired me with something. If you're listening, and we said habit audit, we will take at least one listener's habits. If you have a list of habits that you're struggling with or you want to change, or barriers, if you will, send them in. We'll do a habit audit episode. What do you think of that, Brian? Would that be fun?
That'd be a fun episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Send us the habits that you think are unchangeable, and we will try to help you change them. Reduce the friction to your success.
Yeah, would we be bringing someone on the episode to do a live habit audit, or would
Brian,
we?
you're increasing friction to this proposition.
Okay. Just email us and we can work out the
Send us an
details.
email and we'll work those. Like, here's the deal. Someone might be listening to me like, listen, I ain't coming on that show. I'm too nervous. Boom, friction. They lost that opportunity, Brian. Take your own advice for a second. So yeah,
Okay.
send us an email if you want to hear, if you want us to go through your habits, we can do it anonymously, or we could work you in on a like a recorded episode. If you want to be a guest, we're doing guests now, folks. So I'm all for that.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've seen our business coach do business audits
Mhm.
online. So like a little habit audit would be, or a blood sugar audit, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
We're just, and we're not the IRS folks. So just, yeah,
No, we don't have. I don't want to be part of that organization. So I'm not. We don't have that authority. This is here. We're here to help you, not shake you down. It would be
yeah,
a
yeah.
completely free habit audit to go online. In fact, Brian, if they send us and we pick their habits, will we send them some resistance bands if they don't have them?
I think we will.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, we've just reduced friction to your exercise, folks. See what we did here? And Brian, did we plan this?
No, we did not. But
No,
you're an improv comedian, so
we had an idea, but then we made this more fun, I think. So to wrap things up, the F word for 2026. No, not that one. We're talking friction. Reduce friction to better habits and increase friction to the things that are impeding you. And if you're unsure what to do, we're doing a friction habit audit. So send us an email with your habits. We'll either have you on live to record or just send them in. We'll go through them on the air, Brian and I, anonymously if you'd like, and we will send you a nice pack of resistance bands. Or if you already have reduced that friction in your life, some protein bars to replace whatever junk is in your cabinet.
David Bars, if you're listening, we still want to be sponsored.
Yeah.
No, those are just the highest protein bars that we've found so far.
The highest costing protein.
Highest costing, highest
Yeah.
cost, but
Yeah.
highest amount of protein too.
Oh, well, yeah, there's friction. If you think you have to use a David bar as your protein bar, that will be too much friction. You do not have to do that.
No.
I only eat them because I got them for my birthday, if that makes you feel better. So
I only eat them because Cory sent them to me as a Christmas gift. So
Merry
thank you,
Christmas,
Cory.
Brian. All right.
I did want to add one thing, like an idea of friction that just came to mind is like when it comes to like David Bars, like financial friction. I know I've talked about this in the past. Like if you are going to keep, processed food, we'll call it junk food, whatever you want to call it. I don't really like labeling it as junk food, but it is just basically processed food in the house. Reduce how much you're going to eat simply by just increasing the quality, like you're increasing buying more expensive junk food. That's what I'm trying to say is like you're going to increase the friction of eating a lot of it by increasing the cost of the junk food itself. And you're going to get actually there's some semi-decent junk processed food out there that's mimicking the the Cheetos of the world, the chips, like all that stuff. There probably has protein in it, maybe just less ingredients.
Hey, Brian, I like this idea of increasing friction for junk food. I'm gonna call it junk food because I have less of a regard for words. I'm gonna throw this out there again. If you want a list of our more higher friction junk food, Brian will put that together for you. So send us an email. We'll put that out too. What do you think of that, Brian? I just gave you.
I like that idea. That's a good idea.
So you got two reasons to contact us today to go through your habits on through a friction habit audit, or if you want the more expensive junk food so you eat less of it list, Brian and I will put that together for you as well. So.
Yeah.
Were you able to get through the point that you were hoping to before I interrupted you with another piece of
I
work?
was, and thank you for cutting me off because I think I was starting to just ramble on.
You were. That's why I cut you off because you were starting to ramble. So I think we're off to a fiery, here's an F word for 2000. We're off to a fiery start to the year. We hope that you are moving towards your goals. And if you are not, send us a question. We are due for a listener question episode. So 3 reasons to email us: a question, habits, or your junk food list.
This is increasing friction, Cory.
It is.
You're giving them choices.
Oh,
now,
yeah,
literally, you're increasing the friction.
it's okay.
I will release it'll be on our Instagram. So you can just basically just go over there and check out the junk food alternative list. You don't have to email us for that.
Yeah.
I'll just post it, and then that way people can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Just email us about the friction audit call, whatever you're calling this thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I named it right.
And your questions.
But our F word for the year, I thought we talked about this, was fun, not fiery.
Fun.
Fun.
I said it is a great word. I didn't say it was the word. No, the F word that we're going for this year is fun. If you can't tell in this episode, we've had a lot of fun. But also, it's okay to be there's more than a couple F words, as my son is learning at school. So it's yeah, our goal this year is to have fun, because it's fun when you get off medicines and take your health back. Nothing more fun than that as pharmacists, to see people not need us clinically. So, Brian, it's good. This was fun. And thank you for listening to the Diabetes Remission Roadmap. We will see you next time. Remember to email us with your friction habits or questions. And until next time, Brian and I will be out having some fiery fun.
If this episode gave you clarity or hope, share it with one friend who's been stuck in the diabetes trap. That's how this mission grows. One person, one family, one story at a time. And if you haven't yet, leaving a quick review helps more people find the show and realize they're not stuck with meds forever. It takes less than a minute, and it means the world to us. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being part of this movement toward freedom. Thanks for listening to the Diabetes Remission Roadmap. The ideas discussed here are for general informational purposes only and do not constitute medical or nutritional advice. We are pharmacists, but we're not your personal healthcare providers. Always consult your own physician or qualified clinician before changing medications, exercise routines, or nutrition plans. Results vary, and what works for one person may not work for another.